boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm For Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what we have in here is Doom Eternal, developed by ID Software, using their new engine called ID Tech 7, that for me it resembles pretty much the old engine, the ID Tech 6. It seems pretty much the same, but it seems like they only changed the number of it. So what I'm going to play in here, it is with 720p minimum settings and using dynamic resolution set to 60 frames per second. Because Doom Eternal, it was created to be playable at 60 frames per second. And unfortunately, even with this dynamic resolution, which you can check on the stats, it is pretty much all the time at 50% of resolution scaling. But let's jump into the system requirements. So these guys ask for an AMD Ryzen 3 8GB of RAM or an Intel i5, alright? But for the graphic card, they do ask for a GTX 1050 Ti, 4GB, and well, that's a lot. And I'm not talking even about VRAM, I'm talking about the power of the graphic cards that you really need to power up this game. This is the unfortunate part. This game, it is very well optimized, even to run at maximum settings, but unfortunately, if you have low-end hardware like we do have in here with the MX130, it seems that this graphic card, it isn't enough, and it is being stressed in all the ways. That first of all, what I have in here, it is the 2GB GDDR5 version, and Doom Eternal does require around 3GB of VRAM as a minimum to be optimal. So since we have only 2GB of VRAM, the game will be, you know, switching textures back and forth more than the usual, penalizing a little bit the performance of the graphic card. And second part, it is that the power behind the MX130, it is not enough to provide some stable 60 frames per second on this game. Quite the contrary. Like I said, even with these minimum settings, 720p, using a dynamic resolution scaling that spends all the time at 50% of resolution scaling, and with all the settings at the minimum possible, what I get in here, it is an experience around 30 frames per second to 40 frames per second. There are areas where you can expect something lower than that, like 25 frames per second. This is not optimal to play Doom Eternal in my opinion, and I wouldn't really recommend to you unless you know what to expect. And that's why I made this video, because I really want you to know what you can expect if you go and buy this game. And if you go and buy this game through Steam, the game costs $59.99 by the time of the release of this video, but I have in here a discount, which if you get the game from Greenman Gaming, which is an official retail store just like Humble Store, you will get a discount, a small one, but still significant discount. Alright, so from Greenman Gaming you can get the game for $52.79, so it is around €7.50 less than on Steam. And this is pretty good, because if you buy through Greenman Gaming, you can still activate the game on Steam, just like you have brought the game from Steam. So I don't see any reason to not take advantage of buying through Greenman Gaming instead of Steam, since it's more cheaper and you can activate the game on Steam anyway. But like I said, I'm quite disappointed with the performance of Doom Eternal. I was expecting the game to run so much better, but unfortunately, despite it runs flawlessly on my GTX 1650 Super on my desktop, the MX130 feels quite the contrary, and it is quite disappointing in my opinion. Alright, so guys, that's all that I want to talk about the MX130 performance. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video. You can check up the frame rate on the upper right corner. Alright, that's it. Thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Behold the fruit.
necessary step on the path to a brighter tomorrow. Thanks to the UAC Metal Merger Initiative, humanity can now reach its full potential.